skills is not being promoted as much as it should be, and we need mediation, not adversarial. We don't need law courts that are adversarial. We need mediation. Mediation, not bunches of highly paid, highly trained lawyers, solicitors at each other's throats, coming up with really complicated, clever arguments as why they're right and the other side is wrong. No, we really need a move towards mediation. And Stephen R. Covey has written many books. His flagship book is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. One worth mentioning I'll come on to is The 8th Habit, but he's also written a book called The Third Alternative, which is all about fair and reasonable negotiation for workable, long-lasting compromise. It's an excellent book, but the section on getting husbands and wives to understand each other does not work. Well, he's a Mormon, and he's obviously married somebody where the conflict between them is not too great. For couples where the conflict is great, even the third alternative, according to me, probably won't work. For couples warring, you either need to talk, men need to talk to me, and women need to talk to Laura Doyle. I'll say more about couples in another video, couples therapy, whatever. I rate Laura Doyle as the world's expert on helping women to heal relationships, and I'm probably the world's expert on helping men to heal relationships. So I need to mention my website. The gateway to my services is through my email address, skydazzle1971@gmail.com. The bit you need to write down perhaps is 1971, which is my girlfriend's birthday, and also the date that a book written by a woman, Esther Villa, The Manipulated Man, was written in 1971 by Esther Villa. Anyway, that's all a bit irrelevant, really. Just somehow remember this email address, Sky, S-K-Y, Dazzle, D-A-Z-Z-L-E, 1971 Gmail. That is the gateway to my services. At the moment, I have time. I can fit most people in with brief advice. There's a series of books called The 1 Minute. There's a book called The 1 Minute Manager. If you were to give advice, in most cases, you listen to the clients, and then don't bomb them with masses and masses of theory. Like I'm giving an overview here, which different bits are going to stick with different people. But if you're a manager, this 1 minute manager series is good. Listen to the clients, and then say, right, what I think you need to do is blah blah blah. Right, go away, try it, and come back to me. The 1 minute manager. And I sort of lost what I'm trying to say here. So there's a meme war, and we need Stephen Covey's book, The Third Alternative. Doesn't work for relationships. Well, it might work in some cases, but where man and woman are poles apart and not understanding each other, and there's domestic abuse, domestic violence, misunderstandings in both directions. Laura Doyle will help women, and I will help men. And my gateway is Skydazzle1971 at Gmail. And Laura Doyle, her website is www.lauradoyle.org. So for women, lauradoyle.org. For men, an email address, skydazzle1971 gmail.com. Fine. So moving on. So World War IV. So World War III. Who knows this meme war, World War III that we're in at the moment? Who knows how it's all going to come out in the wash? Nobody should be too concerned. Oh, my side must win. No, my side must win. Stop it. At the end of the film Casablanca, Humphrey Bogart says to the woman, look, in the future, we'll look back on this chaotic situation and see it as no more than a hill of beans. Well, I'm speaking to some people, other people. If you haven't seen Casablanca, you won't know what I'm talking about. Right. And talking about projection, science fantasy, science fiction, science fantasy. A lot of science fiction, science fantasy is actually prophetic. Actually prophesizing the future. So I've already mentioned. What have I mentioned already about prophesizing the future? I can't remember. It'll come back. Really amazing prophecies. The Forbidden Planet is a warning. If we all chase our dreams, I don't like NLP, neuro linguistic programming. Okay, there's some bits of NLP that are useful. Some people learn visually, some people learn with their ears, some people learn through physicality. This is useful information. Different children learn in different ways. So if you only teach visually, some kids will lose out. If you only teach with ears, some kids. So a good teacher teaches sort of visually, orally, and kinesthetically at the same time. So each child can learn in their own preference. So there's some good bits of NLP, but NLP NLP came about from studying powerful people. How do people get into power? Well, a bit like Machiavelli, actually. Machiavelli, wrote this book called The Prince. How did powerful people get into power and stay into power, often by being bloody ruthless? Well, NLP is the modern version of Machiavelli. NLP studies powerful people in the modern world, how they got there, how they stay there, and if you copy the NLP techniques, you will get ahead financially. But if you're not ethical, you will get ahead at the expense of massive misery for other people. So I don't approve of Machiavelli. Well, it's good to understand Machiavelli so that you can actually stand up against it, but to use Machiavelli to get ahead at the expense of others, I don't approve. To use NLP to get, and my little joke, I call it a joke, it's not a joke, that I spoke to a woman who started this organisation called NLP for Kids. NLP, number 4, Kids. NLP for Kids. I spoke to her. After 20 minutes, she hung up the phone on me. Call this a joke. I think she's the Antichrist. Teaching NLP to kids. It's like giving a box of matches to kids. It's like giving a set of fireworks, explosives, giving explosives to kids and matches, we don't, metaphorically, we don't give matches to kids. Giving NLP to kids, it's the same. Giving NLP to the kids will guarantee nuclear winter. The next generation will be at each other's throats so much that nuclear winter. So my little joke, call it a joke. I don't know why I call it a joke. This woman who's promoting NLP for kids, she's the Antichrist. And darling, if you hear this message, come and take me on. Don't try and ignore me or obliterate me. Fucking take me on. There's compromise. We can negotiate fairly for compromise. Please. It's not. I'm laughing. I'm laughing hysterically because it's not funny. Right. Again, we might start another segment here or not. My editor will decide. So science fiction. The Forbidden Planet, wonderful. And George Orwell wrote 2 very interesting books. 1984 was a criticism of where we might end up with right-wing politics, and Animal Farm was a criticism of where we end up with left-wing politics. Now, I think there's a bit of a debate here. I think we're going to end up in the centre. Politics, compromise in the distant future or near or distant future, we're going to end up in the centre with centrist politics, pluralistic societies, some public ownership, some private ownership, fluidity where it's necessary. But there's a debate. Is it best to approach the centre? Well, some people want to go right and stay right. Some people want to go left and stay left. Some people want to approach the centre from the right, and some people want to approach the centre from the left. I'm someone who wants to approach the centre from the left. So out of these 2 novels, 1984 is horrendous, and Animal Farm can be improved upon. So I want to approach the centre from the left, and Professor Richard Wolff is just like me. He wants to approach the centre from the right as well. So I want evolutionary left-wing politics, and Professor Wolff wants evolutionary left-wing politics. And when I posted on the internet, I said, well, Ian Duncan Smith, one of our British politicians, coined the phrase compassionate conservatism. And when I put compassionate conservatism on the internet, a large number of people burst into laughter. Compassionate conservatism is an oxymoron. There is no such thing as compassionate conservatism. And people are having hysterics, over me talking about compassionate conservatism. But those conservatives that do have a heart, I like Boris Johnson. I mean, hopefully everyone knows Boris Johnson. Okay, he's been pushed out of power. I liked him. He was a Tory with a heart. Well, he was human. He was human. He's got kicked out. He's got kicked out of power for being human. For God's sake, we want human beings in running the country. We don't want the country run by left-wing robots or right-wing robots. We need the country run by humans. And Boris might in some ways be right-wing, in some ways be left-wing. He might to and fro, but this is human. To be a left-wing robot or a right-wing robot is not human. For fuck's sake, we're kicking out the wrong people. And Trump, I like Trump as a catalyst. What comes after Trump has got to be better than what came before him. And the one thing I hated Trump for was he didn't care about the environment. He cared so much about jobs. And he thought, well, to create a large number of jobs, if we fuck with the environment, if we pollute all our rivers and kill all the fish, fuck it, it doesn't matter so long as we have jobs. Well, I can slate Trump on that one. But in all other ways, he was speaking for a large number of people, and he's a catalyst, and what comes after has got to be better than what came before. So, Orwell 1984, horrible scenario, horrible Big Brother, and Room 101. Oh my God, the hero when he was sent, I don't know, somebody who was sent to Room 101, maybe the hero, his worst nightmare was being eaten alive by rats. So what they do, they put a steel basin on his stomach, and they put a couple of rats in there, and they put hot coals on top, and the rats, in order to escape, ate their way through his stomach. Worst nightmare. You will conform. You will do what Big Brother says, or we will punish you with your worst fucking nightmare. This is 1984, and 1944 is with us big time. In 1984, the Ministry of Peace starts war